Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Brenda Leeds podcast. So today we are going to be talking about why do some people acknowledge more of the bad than the good? One of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because I feel like a lot of people point out more of the bad than the good in people. Like there are a lot of people who have done a lot of good things in life. There are a lot of people who have done good, but it just don't get acknowledged or talked about as much, or people have a tendency to talk more about the bad than the good. And I know that that can really affect people in many different ways. And I know for me, as somebody who have experienced that a bunch of times, it's extremely annoying and nobody should be doing that type of stuff to you. So I feel like that's something that I definitely should touch base on today on this topic and really get into deep detail about and talk about it. So that's what this topic of discussion is going to be about today. I hope that those of you who can relate learn something from this and also learn something by my own experiences of going through this as well, because I'm going to share some of my experiences as well. People tend to focus on negative experiences more than positive ones due to the natural tendency called negative bias. This bias can be explained by a number of factors, including evolution. So people who were more aware of danger were more likely to survive. And brain processing. Negative information causes more activity in the brain because it keeps your brain going and keeps it, thinking and having all these thoughts and everything going on, which can lead to behaviors and attitudes being more influenced by bad experiences. Your mind shouldn't be on any type of bad things you've done, but in that moment when you're thinking this way and when you're having these type of thoughts, you are going to think like that. Even though it's extremely unhealthy, none of us should do it at all, but it's all a part of being human. It's all a part of being people. We're going to do that. That's totally normal and natural, but you just don't want to make that be a 24/7 type of thing. That's not something that you want to do all the time, because you're eventually going to make that become a bad habit and an unhealthy habit. So what are some of the reasons why people remember the bad things and not the good things? People tend to remember negative or traumatic experiences more vividly than positive experiences. Negative experiences put more effect on us than positive ones do. So a lot of the negative things have a tendency to stick with us longer than the positive ones do. Like the positive ones, they go and come, you don't have no bad or negative effects to them or negative emotions to them like you do with the negative stuff. So of course you're going to have a tendency a lot of the time to always hear about the negative things a lot more than the positive things. But what's mostly importantly is that you're not doing it to yourself. It's different when people are doing it to you, even though that's not okay either. But it's another thing when you're doing it to yourself, because as much as it's unhealthy for other people to do it to you, it's unhealthy for you to do it to yourself as well. Like, I know sometimes in our thoughts, we may be in the moment where thoughts just be going and you kind of just be thinking whatever, but you really don't want to be thinking so far out, with yourself to the point where like you're making yourself feel terribly bad about the things you've done or whatever it is you did, because at the end of the day, these are just thoughts, Thoughts are just thoughts, and just because the things we think or the things that other people may think of us does not mean that they're always true to who we are and who you are as the individual that you are. So don't let things get so far up under your skin to the point where it's causing you to beat yourself up. That's really not good. You can forgive anybody for anything that they do towards you that you don't like, any types of behaviors or whatever it is that they do, but you don't ever have to forget what they did or what they have done to you, and you're not going to forget it. You forgive it and you forgive them, but you don't forget what they've done and what happened. And that's what a lot of people mistaken things and kind of gets things mixed up. They think because you forgive them for something that they did that you're automatically going to forget what they did too. No. That's not how it works. You don't forgive people and then forget what they did. That's kind of weird. I've never known anybody to do that. But what I will say is that you do forgive people and then you move on. You move on. I'm not going to say you forget what they did, but you do move on. But you're not going to typically forget what people do, because you don't forget what anybody did. Like who does? Who in their right mind forgets what anybody have done to them? Nobody. It has a lot to do with a lot of mixtures of different things that we go through emotionally wise that kind of all builds up on top of each other. and it kind of causes a person to think negatively in a negative way from their experiences that they've been through in their lifetime, if that makes sense. So one of the things I'm going to say to how this type of experience makes me feel is that it makes me feel very uncomfortable. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Sometimes I don't want to be around certain people because of this exact reason. And not just that, but it makes me become very distant from people. Like, I don't really want to be around certain people. And it also makes me, not really want to be open about things in my life. Like whatever is going on or whatever I may be feeling or going through, it makes me not want to be open about it at all, because I'm not always too sure if people are gonna like hold it against me or throw it in my face or bring it up every time when they can, just to get me mad or just to see what my reaction is going to be, because there's different types of reasons why people may do that. Sometimes people could do it honestly on purpose just to get a reaction out of you, because they're looking for a certain type of reaction out of you, and they're looking to see if they can get that reaction out of you. So it's kind of like if they could say something to get under your skin, or say something to piss you off, to get you mad or to get you upset, then they will do that. Like they kind of say something that triggers you a little bit. And me personally, I don't like that people do that, because I feel like people do that to look for a reaction out of people because they want that reaction out of you. But I don't like the fact that people do that. I don't see the point of it. I don't see the purpose of it. I don't see the reason of doing it at all. Like, what's the point? But those are some of the things that people can do, and it's really, annoying, but that's how it is. And that's what some people, go through. All I'm going to say is that it just doesn't make me feel good, and it doesn't make me feel comfortable around people. And it don't even make me feel comfortable talking to people sometimes either. I don't know how some of you may feel if you were in that experience, or maybe you already have, but those are some of the things I feel when going through that. And those are some of the things I still currently go through now. But, other times it's worse than others, and other times it's not. But that's something that I do go through that I can have say on, because I do know what that's like. And I do know the type of emotional feelings that you go through and deal with when you're going through that, and when people are doing those types of things to you. So I know exactly what it's like to deal with that type of stuff. And you shouldn't have to deal with it. That's the thing. There's ways of, going about things, but this type of stuff, nobody should have to deal with at all. And they keep like throwing all the negative things in your face that you've done. That also causes you to eventually develop a negative mindset, which causes you to become a negative person that thinks negatively. And like I said, thoughts and feelings that we go through and that we experience and that we be thinking in our head are so easy to get into, but hard to get out of. And sometimes when people target certain things you've done, especially the things you've done that are more negative than positive, that don't help with your thinking either. Like that also kind of puts you into a spiral of thinking more negatively than positively. So catch you guys on the next one. Bye.